Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to know about the publish and subscribing a message. For this, I'm going to use a Pode PowerShell application so that I can demonstrate easily. That may help IT professionals like me. Alright, in the left pane, you can see the project folder structure where I've got my root folder called pub sub demo. So that's publisher, subscriber, demo. Underneath it, I've got two folders. One is components, another one is source. So the source folder has got two more folders called pub and sub, where my subscriber code is in sub app A and my publisher code for the same is in pub app A. You can just name it as you wish. It's just a standard or just for a demo. You can just go ahead and follow the standard, right? So now we don't want to get into the code. I've got another folder called components. Underneath it, I've got pubsub.yaml and subscription.yaml. Frankly, I have not written it by myself. Instead, I have used the Dapper extension in the Visual Studio Code. So all I need to do is I need to install the Dapper Visual Studio Code extension. You can just search for Dapper. You get that, right? So you just want to install that. So upon successful installation, all you need to do is just press F1 and you can say Scaffold Dapper components. So that's going to create a couple of files here. So you can see zipkin.yaml. So that's the component. And another file called statestore.yaml. So what's that? That's another component where you can use a Redis cache as your state store and you can process your records. But that's not the focus in this video. So we're going to remove this and make use of pubsub.yaml and subscription.yaml. What is pubsub.yaml file contains? It's going to define a component kind and that says, hey, this is your pubsub name, right? I'll leave it to default. I've not modified it, right? And the specification, what type of model you have to pick. Either you're going to go with the event hub or you're going to do with some kind of a cloud event hub, wherever you want to do the pubsub, right? In this demo, I'm going to use a Redis. That's the out of the box, right? So I've got the Redis host and I've got that running up and running in my Docker. So you can see that here, this is running in the Docker, right? Port 6379. So that's running over there. So no confusion. So that's what exactly my pubsub.yaml file contains. So in this, I'm going to define that saying that, hey, here's my component. The meta name of that is a pubsub because I'm going to use this in my client application, right? That's in my publisher. And I'm going to keep the type as pubsub Redis because that's what my pubsub type is, because I'm not using any of the cloud native services to store the data or to what do you call it as an intermediate component, okay? So, or a building block. I'm just removing that pubsub.yaml, moving on to the subscription.yaml. Here, which I just say, hey, this is my subscription. So that's my kind, it's not a component, right? And I'm gonna say, hey, this is the topic. So this is where I send my data and that's the route. So that's the process route. It's going to, that's going to do some kind of data massaging. That's where exactly you process your records, right? And the pubsub name. So that's nothing but my pubsub.yaml file has got pubsub.yaml, right? So that's the same name. So if I'm going to change it here, I just want to match it over here. That's it, simple as that. All right, just close this off and back here to my sub app. So here I'm going to have a routing point process, which is of a post method, and I get the body. Okay, babyment object is going to give it from the port, and I'm getting the request property, which has got the internal body, right? So I'm going to access that, convert that to a JSON and extract the data. So how does that looks like? So because my publisher app A has got that. So here, if you can look into it, I've got the order, I've got the data, right? So if I'm converting this to the JSON, so I get some kind of a record. So you can just quickly see what's the output of my output of my data. So that has a key value pair and has got some information, right? So that's exactly I'm looking out for. So I'm processing this and sending the data over here. So what I'm doing here, it's my Dapr port 3500 and say, hey, just head on to v1.0 and the publish pub/sub order. So publish is nothing but my API endpoint defined. I can't customize that. And pub/sub is nothing but my name of the publisher and subscriber component. And order is nothing but my topic, which has been defined in my subscription. So this is my topic and this is my pub/sub. So what happens if I run that? So yeah, we're gonna get to see some magic. Get ready. We're gonna do that. So I'm gonna copy this. I'm starting up my sub app A. So you take a quick look on the app ID. This is defined already in my subscription scope. If I change the app ID, I need to change it over here. So that's how it comes to know there is a scope defined, and the scope is nothing but your app ID. If I have a multiple apps, I have to give the multiple application in the scopes. It's that simple. So now that I have started out my subscriber, now I need to start my publisher. So I just copy the publisher and do it in another console host, push enter, sit back, relax. The application is going to kick on and then move on to the subscriber. There is no request flowing in now. So we need to go back to our PowerShell ISE and just say like, hey, run this right now. So what happens? This is going to spin up and send some data. Over here, I've got a null body. That's okay. I can process this later, but you can quickly see here that's working as expected. So I've got something here. It says client request 35 and then name as a pen. Why it appears like that? Let me show you that. In my pub app, I have made an order as pen. And every time I spin up, what happens is that's going to get a client request text and append it with some random number. So the minimum is 1 and the maximum is 100. So let me quickly show you what happens now. If I re-execute this, you may get one more request, randomly picks up a number between 1 and 100 and append it to the client request text. That's good. So what am I doing here? So I'm just making one particular publisher to place an order for pen. That's good, but my subscriber is the same. That's going to process the order, right? But I can just process for n number of items over here, right? So that's one example I can just quickly think about. I know it's a rough and a cranky example, but still it works. So what you can do is you can just quickly go ahead and copy this Power App A and just make it as Pub App B. Already. So I've got B. I don't have any changes here. I'll mark it as 3002 because I can't run both the application the same port, but I can have the same route. It's not a problem here. So pen pencil, that's good. So I'm gonna say here minimum 100 to the maximum 200. Remaining resides as it is. I'm gonna spin up one more PowerShell console host. Go back to my readme.md, start up my application and just push enter. That should run as expected. That's good. I think it's working. I'm not really sure. Yes, you can see it's listening in the local host in the port 3002. Back here. Now just okay, put it across and I need to change the route. What happens now? What should I see now in my sub? Now you can see the request is 128. It's a pencil now, right? How do I differentiate it? Now again I go back here, execute it. That's going to hook up another server and that will be listening to the port 3000, right? Back here, do the execution again, sit back, relax, and you should be seeing some information now. Yeah, so I can see request number 125 is processed. Is it true? I think so. Let's run it again. Now I see 131 because it's randomly picking up the number. You don't see any number coming up between 1 and 100 because I'm processing only the second part of the record, right? So let's do this. Just go and execute it. Now you should be seeing a pen and a pencil. So you should be getting one between 1 and 100 and another one between 100 to 200. It's pretty simple, and this is how exactly I have learned pub and sub model, and it has got a lot of advantage comparing to the request and response model. But pub and sub has its own pros and cons. Please do refer to the documentation in dapr.io and make sure your architecture is befitting for your needs. Thanks a lot, and I'll catch you up in the next video.